to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say thank you. I am back in Nairobi after spending a long week in Kakamega so that we could build the 3 houses for the grannies. That was Granny Care. And in this podcast, I want to first start by saying thank you for those who showed up, those who responded to our call. We were able to construct the 3 houses successfully.
We thank you so much for this effort. At least Shosho now have a smile on her face. She's going to sleep where there is door and window. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kevin, and your group. May God bless you.
Guys, this is where Dani, this is the house that I was showing you. This is the house Dani alikuwa anaishi. So ukiona hii nyumba, it was not even in a good place. So this is how it was. So we've moved her from this house to this one. So this is the house we just did. And yeah, so this is the one we did for Dani, and we've moved her to this house. Aliingia, if you check inside, already ameweka viti, and we've not even done the door. She said immediately this house was done, akasema yana ingia. We are planning to put the door today, but she's already there.
Okay, dear friends, this is the second house. As you can see, there is door, there is window. Now at least Mama can sleep in a warm place. Thank you so much, Kevin and your group, for supporting. Finally, this is the 3rd house. As you can see, Mama and grandchildren are standing. Thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you so much for remembering this old woman. At least she now has a smile on her face. May God bless you people. We love you so much. Be blessed.
And we've done a big impact. For those who already said still want to support one or the other, you can still reach out. Of course, the situation is still there. Nataka kupeleka some food. Those who are willing, of course, to take some mattresses. Some were saying they wanted to take some clothes. Of course, we bought the mattresses, some clothes for them. You can still reach out, and they will be able to direct you so that you can support them. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to make it this clear. Never take politicians for what they say. And in fact, if you're a subscriber of this channel, I would urge you to stand with the bold policy. Our stand is normally clear. And even as politicians play their games and make their moves, in this podcast, we stick to stand with what is legally right, what is morally upright, and what serves justice. 3, if it doesn't serve justice, if it is not legal, if it is not morally upright, if you steal people's money, that is not morally upright. If you do things outside the law, that is, if it is an injustice, we call it out. And so in this podcast, I want to say this. Today, Raila Odinga penned a handshake deal with President William Ruto. After Raila Odinga, and I want to say unapologetically, I saw someone was saying, Kevin, why are you saying masquerading? After Raila Odinga masqueraded in these counties, allegedly taking some consultations, but he knew that already negotiations were going on with William Ruto to sign the deal. Let me start here.
Got here because of the handshake nonsense. My good brother, Bwana Smart. We got here because you get the opposition, which is supposed to hold government to account, into some illegal, cohabitation, or whatever it was called, in the name of unity. What unity? who says by having an opposition, we are not united. So Kenyans voted in this election, right? There are as many people in Azimio as there are in Kenya Kwanza. So are you going to fault Kenyans that they caused disunity? The Kenyans voted.
Mr. President.
So it is now up to us leaders to figure out this is the decision of Kenyans.
That is Ruto denouncing the opposition forming government. That is Ruto denouncing him forming handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta. And this confirms that even the aggression towards Uhuru Raila handshake by the Ruto camp was not based on any principle. Now, today, the deal was signed and a cooperation agreement has been done between ODM and UDA, by extension Ruto, Raila. Raila has confirmed what I said, that last time in Kakamega, last time when they went to Mombasa, the deal was supposed to be signed. But it was not signed because he wanted to consult. Allegedly, he was just delaying. So how did things start? Let's take you how the day rolled. William Ruto held a parliamentary group meeting, PG meeting in State House. This was the second PG after the 2023 PG, when he wanted to read the State of the Nation address, to make the State of the Nation address. That is the PG held with UDMPs, and UDMPs were telling him he's unpopular. So today he attended that, and that PG in State House was attended by Musalia Mudavadi and the ANC wing of UDA, the one that joined UDA, were actually in State House. From State House, the plan was to go direct to KICC. Hold there. In the meantime, ODM party also convened a central management meeting where Sifuna, who is the spokesperson of the party, of course, he did not stand, and this is what he said, did not stand with what it is. But in that agreement, in any case Sifuna was going to refuse to sign and to subscribe to it, his replacement was none other than Ledama Olekina. And that is why Ledama Olekina, have you asked yourself, what was Ledama Olekina doing in that KICC podium? What was his agenda there? Why was he there? You'll understand.
Na leo hii ndio mimi nimekubali baba ni baba ya kila mtu kweli. Now, allow me to request the two Secretary Generals, the distinguished Senator, the former Senator, but actually still a Senator, the SG Omar Hassan, to be able to come in front. I would also request SG Edwin Sifuna, Senator, CBS. You may clap again. Very good. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now listen. You know, mimi nimwambia baba ni baba ya nani? Kila mtu. Na sasa ukiona SG amesimama hapa, tumpigie baba makofi. Ama namna gani? Now, Bwana SG, this is a very important function for us, and I'm going to request. Can you please get the statement?
Was the standby ODM SG. Now, I made a very interesting observation, and I've seen, I think, quite mainstream media have not seen it or they have ignored it. Mobilized crowds in KICC. Of course, the crowds were mobilized. You could see them dancing. You could see them, someone saying them baptizing themselves in that water around the KICC and just enjoying the recreation around KICC. And you look at two things. There is Raila reception and Ruto reception in KICC. I want to tell you because Raila was the MC who was to prepare ground for president to talk. Na yeye, he got his audience, of course in Nairobi, majorly those who are mobilized. UDA doesn't have good structures in this city. So ODM is the party of the city. It has a bit of support base in some of the slums. So these were people, Raila got his reception. But when he called Ruto and Ruto was talking about jobs for the youth, in the background, the youths were heckling uongo. The youths were heckling uongo.
Tuweze kutekeleza mipango ya kilimo ili tupunguze gharama ya chakula na tupunguze gharama ya maisha. Tuungane, tutekeleze ile mipango ambayo itapatia vijana wa Kenya ajira. Tuondoe matatizo ya vijana wa taifa letu la Kenya. Tuungane, tuondoe ukabila katika uongozi wa taifa letu la Kenya. Ndio Kenya iunganike na tuweze kusukuma gurudumu ya kupeleka Kenya yetu mbele. Mimi nawashukuru viongozi wale wengine wote ambao tumekubaliana ya kwamba tunatembea pamoja. Na wauliza ndugu zangu, ile mkataba tumeweka sahihi hapa leo sio kwa manufaa ya mtu binafsi, sio kwa manufaa ya Raila Odinga ama William Ruto, ni kwa sababu ya manufaa na interest ya vijana wa Kenya, kina mama wa Kenya, watu wote wa Kenya. Tuweze kutembea pamoja, tuishi katika nchi yenye haina ubaguzi, tuishi kwenye nchi yenye iko na umoja, na tukabiliana changamoto za Kenya, tupige hatua ya kwenda mbele kwa pamoja.
Now, let me tell you what happens. For the audio is KICC, I know someone will ask, why is this not there? For the audio is KICC, the group that were shouting uongo must have been around the citizen's camera person. And that tell you, and remember the president while speaking there was saying that the unity is, it's going to change how this country is going to be run. And the unity agenda that was being rallied by those MPs, by those leaders, the youths there were saying uongo. A clear signal to the president, even if you get Raila to endorse and Raila to say Ruto tosha, if you don't address the pertinent issues affecting the country, or that exercise is in vain. But let's make keen of some critical optics in KICC. This was a big event for President Ruto. I've always believed that what Ruto wants from the deal with Raila is to find a way Raila can campaign for him, is to find a way to propagate the broad-based narrative, while Raila Odinga is in that coalition with an objective of collecting and people around him getting tenders and ministries and jobs here and there. Raila and the team around him are looking for, what can we get in this government now? And they made observation. The absence of UDA ANC leader in that event. Recently, there was a meeting in Mombasa, and look at this photo. That was Issa Timami. Issa Timami is the was the ANC party leader who took over from Musalia. So when ANC merged with UDA, ANC party leader was Issa Timami, was made a second deputy party leader. So UDA is supposed to have two deputy party leaders. Now, in that KICC event, Musalia Mudavadi was in State House, and I showed you the video, the photo of Musalia Mudavadi was in State House. But in KICC, Musalia Mudavadi was not in KICC. Yes, Musalia Mudavadi was not in KICC. Don't tell me that it is a party affairs, and so they cannot, exist on political parties. No, there's nothing that changes. The cabinet normally campaigns with the president, while they know very well it is against the law even to campaign to get mark in the local politics. So Musalia Mudavadi not attending that event is a huge red flag, and it's coupled with the fact that William Ruto referred to Raila Odinga twice as Prime Minister.
This moment is not about William Ruto or Raila Odinga. This agreement, this memorandum of understanding is not about sharing positions or winning elections. It is about the people and the interests of Kenya. That is what is significant. To me, the interests of this great nation. We have talked about Kenya of potential for far too long. It is now time that we close ranks as leaders, because this nation can succeed. We have what it takes to be a great nation.
It is a talk. I had Otiendamono warning Raila Odinga in Parliament the other day that forget about this discussion of Prime Minister. The Prime Minister position cannot be created without an referendum. So, with the absence of ANC, it could be clear that number one, they were not involved in that negotiation, and number two, probably William Ruto is thinking of replacing Musalia with Raila Odinga, or now an improved Prime Minister, Prime Cabinet Secretary, not a Prime Minister with Raila Odinga. I am against, and I believe Raila is in his 80s. Of course, he has fought for this country. He has done all that he could do. But I'm afraid Raila Odinga can sit back. But I don't think is the kind of now a leader now you can take to a government office as a minister or a prime cabinet secretary to execute something. It's just a stabilizer. He can call his troops, can tell them support Ruto, can do that. So if someone is thinking of putting Raila Odinga as a prime minister, honestly, it can just be seen. But they were so keen on saying it was not it. The second bit is the breach of protocol on Kithure Kindiki twice. In Mombasa, the same thing happened. Today it happened. Raila Odinga, when Kimani Chungwa was the MC, he handed over the MC role to he handed over the MC role to Kithure Kindiki. Kithure Kindiki called Raila. Now, ordinarily what was supposed to happen is that after Raila's speech, Kindiki is supposed to go back and call the president to address the crowd. But after Raila finished talking, Raila called William Ruto. And let me tell you, it is not just something simple. It is very deliberate. And to just tell you, do you remember sometime in 2010 during the Grand Coalition, there was a big fight between Kalonzo, Raila, and Mwai Kibaki, simply because of protocol. So Raila understands the protocol that is needed. And of course, I want to believe the situation had already been created, that he is the one to be projected as superior to Kindiki, a very red signal. Kindiki was also ignored in the photo session. And you understand, the MC, Michael, I think it's Nzoka Gitonga, he mentioned that two principles, Ruto and Raila, and then he mentioned the party leaders, the chairmen of the two parties and the SGs to come, they went. And then he mentioned the deputy party leaders, and I saw Anyang' Nyong'o was going, but Kindiki went there, and in fact was a bit more confused. He was supposed to stand next to William Ruto until ikabidi this senator, this governor from Embu, to drag him so that he can stand next to the president. The protocol breach, it was very intentional. That could also be seen outside the rally outside KICC at the Parliament KICC. That rally, so leaders were lined up there. They chose Sakaja. I know someone will say, because Sakaja is the host governor. But I want to ask, between Sakaja and Kindiki, who is more senior? Kindiki. So in that, Sakaja spoke, and immediately Sakaja finished, he handed over the microphone to Raila Odinga, and Raila invited William Ruto, and immediately William Ruto finished. William Ruto did not even acknowledge the other leaders. In fact, I thought what would have been the protocol is Sakaja speaks, hands over the microphone to Kindiki, then Kindiki to invite Raila, and even if Raila to invite Ruto that way. But Kindiki was not given the space at that time, the deputy president. Does the governor of Nairobi come before the deputy president? Question for another day. Now, let's look at the messaging. When you listen to the messaging, it is very clear, and I am a bit unapologetic about it. What Raila Odinga and William Ruto projects as a unity, I don't know, to bring change and how things are going to change, is hypocrisy. I want you to listen to a snippet of Sifuna.
We have taken the liberty to read out this memorandum of understanding so that we are all clear on what it is and what it is not. We are all clear on what it is and what it is not. As SG, I want to confirm that this document has been processed through the relevant party organs. And Your Excellency, I have here in this room members of the party's central committee who I'll just request to stand up so that they confirm that this is a decision of an organ of the party. Please stand up if you're a member of the central committee of ODM. Thank you very much. You may be seated. We are going to take turns with my counterpart to read out this MOU. It is titled Memorandum of Understanding to Resolve the Social, Economic and Political Challenges Facing Kenya 2025. Realizing that Kenya has gone through a long period of political crisis and conflict that has hampered the nation's potential for development and improving the livelihoods of our people. Noting that such crises have often resulted into demonstrations by our people demanding their rights, with the state often resulting to brutal suppression of such demonstrations that unfortunately lead to loss of life as well as property. Acknowledging that the nation will not develop without reinforcing democratic governance and the rule of law, conscious that the decay in democratic governance is expressed through skewed allocation of resources, ethnic intolerance and marginalization, corruption, and noting that devolution, though intended to strengthen democratic governance and development at the grassroots, is systematically undermined and starved of funds. Now, therefore, His Excellency President Dr. William Samoei Ruto, CGH, and the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, EGH, being the party leaders of the largest political parties in Kenya and bearing the greatest political responsibility, acknowledge the need in setting up a broad platform for collaboration and cooperation between all political forces and other stakeholders in the Kenyan society to address these long-standing challenges that threaten our nationhood.
And sometimes it's so difficult to be Sifuna. Sifuna was mocked. I heard Ledamo Lekena mocking Sifuna, that Baba ni Baba, if you see Sifuna is here. Sifuna notes that it is clear to say what is in that MOU and gives all those statements about what it needs to be done and how those things are going to change. Of those things I've mentioned, of those things Sifuna has mentioned, I am yet to understand how that bill is going to, help SHA pay private hospitals. How that bill is going to help the education funding model in the universities. How that bill is going to stop the extrajudicial executions that are going on. These are things that Raila believed for. Now, from that messaging, there is an attempt to try to project it as a new dawn. And Raila Odinga is struggling there to explain that, you know, what we have here is not a coalition political party. It's not a coalition political party. Maybe, let's listen to Raila. This is what Raila is saying. This is what Raila Odinga is saying. And if that is not it, then why are we having the secretary generals of the two parties, chairmen, and the party leaders of the two parties signing? You know, sometimes. So it is hidden in semantics. Raila says it is not a political deal, you know. It is not a deal, it is not a political party we formed. William Ruto at the other end is saying that, you know, is projecting this as a scheme to, you know, solve long-standing ills that have been bedeviling the country for years. In fact, Ruto is speaking the handshake language that Raila was speaking with Uhuru Kenyatta. He spent 2 years bedeviling that handshake, attacking that handshake. But he spent more time, and that handshake with Raila mirrors it. He's talking about bringing the country together, even though that is not it. If you look at the context of Ruto, of Raila Uhuru handshake, we're from an election, just months, and things were tough. Raila was sitting ground, and things were just critical. It is not true. And that is what I am seeing. That this deal is supposed to turn around the economy. It's supposed to turn around our politics. Someone is just looking at generating bombshells. The Standard spoke about it, and I analyzed it when I was in Kakamega. Standard said William Ruto is a master of generating bombshells, a cunning politician, generating bombshells to divert the attention of the country from critical issues affecting the nation. For example, now the country is talking about SHA. For the next few days or months, we are going now to pay attention to what this other new bombshell is about. And the country now have to set aside SHA. It is just generating. And if Ruto, and as Ruto that I know is very rigid on those policies, if this deal would mean dropping SHA and going back to NHIF, I would say something can change. But I know the President Ruto as someone who does not sit ground. So what is the urgency? What forced this deal? Why this deal was pushed? I'm saying 4 reasons. Number one, the president wanted to solve the Nairobi equation. He wanted to find a way he can campaign in Nairobi. And if you think I'm lying, can you listen to the last statement he said that sasa wataenda Nairobi river, waanza clean the river, and what he wants is now he starts going to those places with Raila Odinga, going to launch Nairobi river, going to launch a project with Raila. How does that help completion of that project if you've not pumped in money? If you've not pumped in money. So I look at that and I want to say it's something very laughable, because we are not so honest even on that. Now, if you look at the crowd marveled for Raila, so that is Raila crowd. The other second issue is big. I think Ruto is in panic of losing the next election and is now gambling. And can I tell you why? So many things are going to fall. What will stop Wetaza and the rest? I've also not seen Wetangula there. And Wetangula is the Speaker of the National Assembly. Could this deal be part of a recommendation to kick out Wetangula from the Speaker's desk? Is that also possible? So many casualties are there. Regarding gathering is a big blow to Ruto, and Ruto has realized that he cannot attack Rigathi. So he wants the Raila angle, the Raila axis to attack Rigathi. So we need to see how Rigathi is going to take, and so that he wants this to dismantle that gathering, setting an agenda away from the things bedeviling the country. I want to tell the nation, the country must remain steadfast. This Ruto-Raila deal does not make any sense to Wanjiku if the things that are affecting the country cannot be addressed by the leadership. Thank you.